Good morning. My name is Lee Vreeland, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for An Achievable Dream. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to the U.S. Department of Justice COPS L. Anthony Sutin for Civic Imagination Award Ceremony. At this time, if you will please stand for the presentation of colors by the Newport News Police Department and the Newport News Sheriff's Department Honor and Color Guard. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sergeant Hairston. That was absolutely beautiful. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to recognize our special guest with us, Howard Zlotnick, the Managing Assisting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, the COPS Principal Deputy, Russell Washington, Congressman Bobby Scott is represented by DeMontre Boone, Congressman Scott Taylor is represented by Julie Smith, Delegate Marcia Price, Delegate Mike Mullins is represented by Hannah Cannon, School Board Member Shelley Simons, Major Rob Coleman, President of the Newport News Police Foundation, former Mayor of Newport News, Joe Frank, our new Police Chief Steve Drew. Welcome to Newport News. Assistant City Manager Alan Archer, And representing our law enforcement partners and first responders who traveled from Henrico to be here with us this morning, Major Sandra Johnson and Jesse Woods of the Henrico Sheriff's Department, and Ray Randolph of the Henrico Fire Department. Thank you for making it such a wonderful partnership in Henrico. And all of the Achievable Dream Board of Directors that are here with us this morning, please stand. I would also like to take a moment to recognize Kathy Edwards, the President and CEO of An Achievable Dream, and the individual who initiated this award application. Over 25 years ago, Walter Siegeloff realized that a one-size-fits-all approach to public education would not meet the needs of all children. He realized that simply providing math, English, science, social studies, and physical education would not level the playing field for some of the children who needed it the most. He knew it would take a holistic approach to education, that we would have to ensure that the social skills were taught in school as well. For those of you who knew Walter, when there was a mission, it would be accomplished, and when there was a dream, it would be achieved. Gabe is seconding that, I know it. So began the journey of An Achievable Dream. He knew that in order to develop this program, we could not do it alone. It would require partners. These partners would include the business community, the school division, the City of Newport News, the military, and law enforcement. I don't think that Walter would have ever been able to predict the overwhelming support that we would have from our partners, or the impact that these partnerships would have on the success of the program. 26 years later, and these partnerships are still going strong. As you saw in the video, we have morning rituals. These rituals include greeting our students every day. Students are expected to look the greeter in the eye with a nice smile, give them a firm handshake, and say good morning. This tradition not only strengthens the relationship with the greeters, and in many cases, the law enforcement, but also it allows the Achievable Dream staff to assess a child's mood, to detect potential issues before the day gets started. The law enforcement's presence daily says to them, I care about you. You are special to me. After the students shake hands and eat breakfast, then they go directly to the morning program. Why the morning program? Why is that something we do every day? Because there is great power in a morning routine that reinforces and celebrates the expectations that a child can and will succeed. Regardless of the challenges that a child may have faced the night before, the morning before, in their home or in the community, this is their safe environment. I can be anything I want to be. And the individuals in this building love me. A very important component of the morning program is the uniform inspections. Our students wear uniforms to eliminate social issues, the have versus the have-nots, reinforce school as a business, and strengthen the group identity. As you will see in just a moment, our law enforcement officers play a very important role in the uniform inspections each day. Since 2000, the Sheriff's Department has been participating in our morning rituals with our middle school students every single day of the school year. In 2007, An Achievable Dream opened its own middle and high school, which is the building that you are sitting in right now. Prior to 2007, our middle school students attended an Achievable Dream Academy, where our K-5 students are still in attendance. And our high school students went to Heritage High School, which is right next door. For the first time in the history of the program, our high school students would be participating in these morning rituals. Who would greet them every day? The perfect partner was obvious: the Newport News Police Department. When approached, the response was immediate. Yes, we would love to support this program and impact the lives of young adults every day. So began a partnership that bridged communication and relationships between the law enforcement community and young adults in this community. Since 2007, the police department has been participating in our morning rituals every single day of the school year. Now you're going to get an opportunity to see these morning rituals. At this time, I would ask Judy Overby, Athletic Director, to come forward and lead us in these morning rituals. She will be joined by Corporal Clifford Durham, Master Deputy Tricia Brown, and Deputy Sylvester Walls from the Newport News Sheriff's Department. Representing the Newport News Police Department is Sergeant Charles Lito, SRO Cecil Sawyers, and Master Police Officer Donald Greathouse.
If you hear my voice, give me a whoa. Dreamers, are you ready for your manners? Yes, Coach! Proud to be drug-free. Proud to be drug-free. Be cool, stay in school. Be cool, stay in school. Nothing was ever achieved without enthusiasm. Nothing was ever achieved without enthusiasm. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Being right is out of sight. Being right is out of sight. Decisions are up to me. Decisions are up to me. Success in school.
say that if you can leave the morning program and not feel good, have a positive vibe going, then I don't know what we can possibly do. So I hope everybody leaves here feeling a little bit better about themselves, knowing that an achievable dream loves you when you leave here today. Who better than to hear about the partnership than through the eyes of a student? So it is my pleasure to introduce Tashara Jones, an 8th grader, who will share the importance of the connection with law enforcement.
Good morning, everyone. I am a rising 9th grader, and I currently attend Achuba Dream Middle High School. The relationship with the police officers and deputies here at the school is wonderful. They treat us as if we are their own kids, and I love it. They keep us safe and make sure we are having a great day. As one of their jobs, they inspect our uniforms and make sure we look presentable. They lead by example because their uniforms are always neat, clean, and worn properly. Outside of school, police officers and deputies are looked at wrong because of what we see on the news. Our Achuba Dream police officers and deputies have shown me over the years how great they can really be. They just simply want to help and keep us safe. For example, there was a deputy that brought my class cookies every week if our uniforms were on point, and I love cookies. I also had the exact same deputy throughout my middle school years, which was awesome. Out of respect, I speak to police officers and deputies every time I see them in the street, just to make their day better. They are human beings just like us, yet they get treated and get disrespected like they are enemies. A few weeks ago, these awesome deputies came here to give us information about the Explorers program. I became interested because I love helping people get out of trouble, and I wanted to try something new. I remember they told me that if we stayed in the Explorers program, that we may be able to join the Sheriff's Department when we are older. It was eye-opening because you don't see kids at my age get this opportunity. I also learned that they believe in strong relationships, which continue to build a brother and sisterhood bond, and I love it. It was interesting to see that their dress code is similar to ours, and I was like, wow, adults have to go through the same thing. I enjoy getting to know about the different jobs in the department and how they deal with tough situations in a professional way. Overall, the experience was great, and I look forward to working with the Explorers program and getting to know the Newport News Police Department as a high school student. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tashara. We do not have cookies today, but we do have cupcakes, so I think that will do the trick. Now I am honored to introduce the COPS Officer Director, Phil Keith, to present the L. Anthony Sutin Award.
Good morning, and I bring you tidings from the Attorney General's sessions as well as the Department of Justice, the Community-Oriented Policing Office, better known as the COPS Office. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask the COPS staff that helped me arrange this event would stand up for me. I'm from Tennessee, but we learn slowly but surely that if you surround yourself with good people, good things happen, so I've tried to do that. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I think it's a great opportunity for any community to showcase programs like what you've developed here in Newport News. I was up in Camden, New Jersey yesterday, and I have a program where they're doing their outreach as well. It dawned on me that, it's programs like this that ought to be on the headlines of our newspaper and ought to be on the 6 o'clock news to change the narrative about law enforcement today. While we sit here, while we're sitting here this morning, there are 200,000 law enforcement officers on the street trying to help provide public safety for almost 350 million people. If that's not a task, I don't know what is. But the Attorney General, as well as all the members of the Department of Justice, we're committed, as he says routinely. We have law enforcement's back, and we're going to change the narrative in this country about law enforcement. I'd like to start off by thanking Acting Chief Michael Grindstein and Sheriff Gabe Morgan, President Kathy Edwards, and Vice President Lee Vreeland for helping us put this together today. I know we recognize Steve Drew, who'll be the new chief here very soon. And it's always a pleasure to be with folks that have a common interest, particularly in kids. And most of the folks that I work with in Washington know that I love law enforcement. I probably love kids just a little bit more. But it's good to be here during the greet and meet we were having earlier. Charlie was telling me that he made a statement. He said, education is the only way out of what we're in. And I think it's a very true statement. Education is the solution for a lot. Unless of course, you're talking about Washington, D.C. But before I get into why these organizations we're recognizing today are receiving awards, let me tell you a little bit about the Anthony Sullivan Civic Imagination Award. It's named after Tony Sutin. He was the deputy director at the COPS office from its date of origin, 1994, and served in that capacity until 1996. He became the principal deputy to the Associate Attorney General of the United States just after that, and he then served as acting Assistant Attorney General for the Legislative Affairs before joining the faculty at Appalachian School of Law in Grundy, Virginia in 1999. He rose quickly there at the law school, becoming the dean, and unfortunately passed away suddenly in 2002. I didn't have the pleasure to know Tony personally, but I've heard many stories about him. He has quick wit, great intellect. They say he's pretty good at fixing broken fax machines too. That's one trait that he and I will not have in common. But he had a tremendous commitment for service to the community, and I think it's with that admiration and respect for Tony and his many contributions to not only to the COPS office, but to all the communities we serve through the COPS office that this award was named after him. Of course, the purpose of the award is about, I don't need to tell you about it because you're doing it. It's about collaboration between law enforcement and community members to do something innovative and that is sustainable. The nominees we've received, which are quite a few actually, all represent what we're looking for when we recognize certain communities, particularly when it involves children. And because it requires law enforcement and community participation, we spend a great deal of time looking at the nominees, spending a lot of time deliberating on what works and what doesn't work. And as in most competitions, somebody wins. And in this case, this year, we're here to recognize the Newport News Police Department, the Newport News Sheriff's Office, and Achievable Dream. And when I was reading the background on it, realizing that it'd been in operation for 25 years, I think that passes the test for sustainability. And so it's a great honor to be here and recognize these organizations for what they do, not just for their own agencies, but for what they do for the community, and most importantly, these young children that were up here this morning. I know in my 34-year law enforcement career, there wasn't anything more important than working with kids. I always tell an interesting story about my retirement. We had about 2,000 people attend my retirement. I think they were glad I was leaving. But there were 4 people that came up and spoke at my retirement event that I wasn't expecting. And all 4 of them were kids that I'd met somewhere between 1970, when I was a rookie, and 1975, when they thought I should be promoted. And I had no idea what they'd done, lost track of them, but they each got up and talked about the influence that a law enforcement officer can have on their, not just their youth, but their entire life. I don't think you can get that kind of recognition from anywhere that means any more to you if you have any kind of blood in your system. Officers make a difference in kids' lives every day. Here we have a collective effort, and we see the number of kids. These men and women are represented here. They touch children every day that goes undocumented and underappreciated for what they do. So it's great to be able to be here and recognize these organizations. And I don't want to leave out the Fort Eustis soldiers who played a tremendous role in helping the students on a daily basis, serving as role models, mentors, and confidants. I know in reading, again, the background, the classes that they were involved in, hoops with the cops, bullying, things of that nature, that's really what it takes for us to get along and be successful in our life. And these officers are forming incredible bonds as they work with these kids that will last not only for their lifetime, but the lifetime of the children they affect. And then when you look at the results of what happens to these kids after they finish the program, about completion of high school, and attending college, and attending the military, we need to spread the word pretty quick, because what you do here is special, and it means a lot. We want to do our part at the COPS office in promoting your program, not just in Virginia, but nationwide as a role model type organization or program, if you will, that can make a difference. So it's with those words of acknowledgement, it's an honor, distinct honor for me to congratulate Newport News Police Department, Acting Chief Michael Grindstein. Where's Mike? He's there. Newport Sheriff Gabe Morgan, and the Achievable Dream President and CEO Kathy Edwards, as well as Vice President Dr. Lee Reeland. So it's a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to make these awards today. Congratulations to the recipients. See, I need all kinds of help. Okay, we're going to recognize, I think Michael is the first recipient. I'll ask Michael to come up. And he has some words he's going to say. The hardest job in law enforcement today is an acting position. It doesn't matter where you are, acting. And for somebody who steps up for a community, and particularly with his background, his length of service on the streets, it means a lot and speaks well for this community. Chief?
Found my notes. I'll be lost. Well, good morning, everyone. Like I said, I'm the interim Chief of Police, Mike Grinstead, well, for the next 3 weeks. It's truly an honor to be here today to share this prestigious award with our community partners, Achievable Dream and the Newport News Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Achievable Dream's President, Kathy, and the Vice President, Lee, and the entire team at Achievable Dream, all the administrators and teachers, for nominating us for the L. Anthony Tony Sutin Civic Imagination Award. Community-oriented policing has always been a part of our mission, and we take it very seriously. We brought it in the early 80s, and I've been around for a little while, so it's been what I've been driven for the whole time I've been on the department. We must continue to build these positive relationships through regular interaction with all our local agencies, businesses, faith-based, and so that we can work together to reduce the crime. And this is a prime example here that all my officers that come out here on a daily basis, and the school resource officer. And we must impress upon our children that the future of the city, the importance of working together, is going to build a stronger community. So I would also like to thank Director Phil Keith of the Office of Community-Oriented Policing for being here today to present this award and help us celebrate this accomplishment. And I accept this award on behalf of all our men and women on the Newport News Police Department. Thank you.
And of course, I managed to get the certificates mixed up. There's only 3 of them, so figure that one out. Next, I want to recognize Newport News Sheriff's Office. He's no newcomer to this community, having served not only law enforcement but military as well. Sheriff Gabe Morgan.
I have got the right one. We narrowed it down.
Director Keith, thank you, distinguished guests, and more importantly, dreamers. It is really a bittersweet moment because my good friend is not here to see this. And if you would give me a point of privilege, if we could just take a moment of silence to reflect on Walter Segeloff. I see Alan over there nodding because we know what he put into this program, so please join me. Thank you. You know, Walter had a vision. And a lot of people may not have supported his vision. They said, "You can't do anything." And he said, "Yes, I can." And you heard Lee talk about the fact that if he had a dream, it was going to be achieved. And I know he's looking down right now at this, and he's saying, it's happening. It's not only happening in Newport News, it's happening in Virginia Beach, it's happening in Chesapeake. But I'm honored to stand here today to accept this award on behalf of the committed men and women of the Newport News Sheriff's Office. The Dreamers, you know, they're special. And no less than about 4 of them have gone on to work with us in one capacity or another. And we see them every day when we do our job. And into adulthood, those relationships has moved on and continued in a lot of different ways. You know, each morning, folks in law enforcement, my deputies get up, and there's a lot of uncertainty of what their day is going to be like. But there's one certainty, one highlight that they can count on, one consistency. And that constant is they're going to be here at Achievable Dream, high-fiving, handshaking, smiling, and interacting with some children that they don't understand how it's going to ultimately change the trajectory of their lives. But those kids every day look forward to their presence, and they look forward to the presence of the children. Many of the children come from challenging environments, and this place loves them. They know that they're loved. It's a safe haven, and it's just remarkable to be able to put safe haven and law enforcement together in an environment where children love to be and love to interact. This relationship is not only beneficial for the children, but it's also beneficial to law enforcement. As we look at the narrative across America today, one of the things that we see is that relationships within communities sometimes are strained. But I will tell you that part of that is a desensitization sometimes on the part of law enforcement when we are out there dealing with stressful situations over and over again. And the interaction here at this school and the other places throughout our community help us to stay grounded, to understand why and appreciate why we do the job that we do day in and day out. And because of that, I am thankful to Lee and Kathy for our long-standing partnership. I look forward to us continuing that partnership. And I look forward to many more dreamers, like the one that spoke earlier today, joining the ranks of the Newport News Sheriff's Office. With that, Director Keith mentioned our other partner who's not being recognized here today only because this is about law enforcement. But we could not do it without the military. And having spent more than 2 decades, I know what it's like to be deployed, to be away from home. But then when you come home, to be here every day and be part of the solution is just remarkable. And I salute the men and women of the 7th Sustaining Brigade now. When I was there, it was the 7th Group, but it's the 7th Sustaining Brigade for their support of this endeavor. And last but not least, I look around the room and I see some community partners that this would not be possible without them. You know, we got Alan, we got Joe. You know, it's wonderful to be here, to see this, and to see your commitment, and all of the board members, you know, Cheeks, and Tony. Folks may not know, Tony Brothers is sitting over there, he's on the board. And he is also an NBA rep, but he's here because of the commitment of our community partners. So once again, I say thank you to each and every one of the partners. Thank you for the men and women in law enforcement who come here every day and stay committed. And thank you, Kathy, for continuing the legacy and the dream of our good friend Walter.
And the third leg on our stool of awards is going to be given to Kathy Edwards and Lee Vreeland.
Nothing reminds you that you're short like the microphone when you have to move it down. We thought that it would be best to hear the perspective and the thank you from an achievable dream from someone who is in the trenches every day. So at this time, I would ask Purvis Blake to come up and to share a few words on behalf of an achievable dream.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The life of a dreamer. As I look out the window of my school bus on my first day of school at an Achievable Dream Middle and High School, I see numerous law enforcement vehicles. I see the cars of the Newport News Sheriff's Office and the Newport News Police Department. If this were a typical school, I would be nervous to get off the bus, thinking that there is something wrong at the school. However, I know this is not the case here. I walk into the school and shake the hands of the many sheriff deputies, and they always greet me with a smile, a firm handshake, and a good morning, dreamer. As I go to class, I am welcomed again by other deputies who ask about my weekend, and also how I am doing in school. Finally, before they leave, they inspect my uniforms to make sure that I'm squared away. Sometimes the deputies join us in breakfast and offer many other extracurricular activities such as the Explorers program and the summer aviation camp where we learn all about airplanes and drones. When I reach the 9th grade, I am welcomed in the morning by the Newport News police officers. I see our own SRO, Master Police Officer Wilson, every day as well. In fact, sometimes I forget he is a police officer. He feels more like a family member because of the way he mentors us. Not only do we see the police officers every morning, but we also see them numerous times during the school year. I actually look forward to the annual Cola with the Cop basketball event. This is where we, the students, play a basketball game against the Snipers, which is the police department's basketball team. Our own AAD teachers join with the Snipers to play against us. I guess they need all the help they can get to beat the students. Finally, as I walk across the stage at graduation, I look into the crowd and I see those faces of those deputies and officers that were with me in middle school and that were with me in high school. This is where it really sinks in for me. They weren't there in the mornings because it was just their job. They were there because they believed in me. I understand that this partnership is unique, and I would not have experienced this at this level at any other school. This makes me proud to be a dreamer. The sheriff's office and the police department reminds me that I am somebody. On behalf of an achievable dream, thank you for keeping our community safe. Thank you for recognizing the potential in our youth. And thank you for impacting the lives of our dreamers every day. Thank you.
I do want to go on record as saying that the police department and the staff did win the basketball game last year. I did hear that there were a few officers who had to call in sick the next day, but they did win. Mr. Blake mentioned Master Police Officer Derek Wilson. Derek Wilson has been our police officer, and I do say our police officer because I like to think that we share his heart and commitment. He has been with us since day one, and so we would like to hear from him at this moment.
Good morning. I'm Master Police Officer Derek Wilson with the Newport News Police Department, and I am the School Resource Officer for Achievable Dreams. If you look up the definition of School Resource Officer, it will probably sound something like this: a sworn law enforcement officer that's responsible for the safety of the school or crime in the schools. For me, I would venture to say, for most of my fellow SROs, which we have a few in the room, it's so much more. Newport News Police Department School Resource Officer are part of the department's community-oriented policing philosophy. Although the saying may be overused or even considered a bit trite, it does take a village. That's why this award that we share with our partners from Achievable Dreams in the Sheriff Department means so much to us. We are a village or community of partners dedicated to fostering positive relationships and providing positive role models so that our children grow up to be successful law-abiding citizens that contribute greatly to our community. As SROs, we work with the community to provide valuable resources to help the students develop strategies for effective and appropriate problem solving. In addition, we share the responsibility of teaching them respect, not only for adults and their peers, but respect for themselves. It is my dream to one day visit a doctor who I once ate lunch with that said he went to Achievable Dreams, and I may have said a few words that encouraged him to pursue his path or become who he is today, or she. Or that scientist who finally cures cancer was a child that one day came to me in tears just looking for encouragement or someone to talk to, and I was able to make a difference in that child's life. So I challenge everyone in this room to stand up with me and commit to helping give all the children of our community a chance to become dreamers, and most importantly, teach these children the skills necessary to make that dream come true. Thank you.
Officer Wilson, I have no doubt that you will meet the doctor, scientist, police officer, deputy, whomever it is that you have greatly impacted every single day at an Achievable Dream. In closing, to all of the law enforcement officers and agencies represented this morning, thank you for playing a critical role in the lives of our students and countless other young adults and children throughout the community. Thank you for always seeking creative, innovative, and engaging activities that keep our youth away from drugs, gangs, and the lures of society. As our nation faces more and more challenges, and our children go to school not sure of what their day may hold, your profession is one that we could never live without, yet it is often thankless. So today, we say thank you to the U.S. Department of Justice and the COPS Office for giving us the opportunity to take one moment to thank all of you the way you deserve to be thanked every day. We thank all of you for coming out and celebrating this with us today and taking the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being our partners. And let's do this for another 25 years.